Hello, welcome to Furious Driving, and today, before it rains again, which is going to be fairly imminent, I'm going to take another look at this, my Rover 200 VI. As I said in the last video, and the videos before that, one of the rarest cars currently on the road. There is a fair few Rover 200 bubbles lurking around, but only 20 VIs still in existence that are taxed. So this is kind of a rare beast for me to be playing with. It's also absolutely filthy because of the well, unpopular building work up the road. There is lots of mud around, making my once shiny car excessively muddy. Now, this car is not 100% perfect. I've mentioned this in a couple of videos. We've got a couple of issues. Now, it's all electrical, which means it's probably all down to earths. And some rather helpful comments have come up along suggesting I need to go and look at earths in the back of the car, and I was already going to be looking at earths in the dashboard, because what have I got that's wrong with this car? Well, let me tell you. We have got, let's turn the ignition on for a second, indicators which seem to be working more of the time than not, but every now and then you'll flick the thing and nothing happens, and sometimes they'll stop during and indicate. I don't know if you can see it there. I'll throw in some B-roll of film I filmed last night of the tailgate open warning light going off and on very slowly, which suggests there's a bad earth in the back of the car. Well, this is interesting. I turn the fan on, the boot open warning light starts flashing on and off. Turn the fan off, but I don't know if this is related or not. Maybe it's just flashing on and off of its own accord. This clock here is only showing some of its segments, and I think the problem there is to do with the what's it called? The ribbon cable on the back becomes detached, but I think I can take that apart and probably fix it. And finally, obviously the radio and the interior light does absolutely nothing, and I don't think it's due to a blown bulb. I think that's going to be due to no wires going to it. Bulb does look fairly complete to me, so I'm guessing there's no voltage going into the roof, but the sunroof does work. Oh, finally, this does not rotate as it should. The volume control on the heater, which will only turn a tiny bit. A couple of people who know these cars have mentioned this wire down here, which pops out the back of there and is what actually physically moves the valve on the back of the heater matrix, or heater block I should say, the hot water pipes. And that I have left squirting with Bulldog, and that has actually started moving quite a lot now, so I've actually got a bit of movement back in that, so I've regained control of my temperature. Hurrah! Well, at least one thing's fixed today. Well, having a hunt around in the back for earths, I'm trying to remember where they all are in the R8 and the R3. I thought there's one on each side, but I've only found one on the driver's side so far, which is these two big bundles just here. The connections actually look pretty good, but I'll give them a clean up anyway before I bolt them back together. Right, all back together, all cleaned up. Clean up the contacts on that relay as well, so it's all back together. Let's have a look on the dashboard and see what happens. Interesting. The light bulb for the open boot is now out, but it shouldn't be because the boot is open. Aha, this is an interesting development. I'm fairly certain that when the hazard light's on, that particular pattern of lights isn't going to show up. Now I've shut the boot. We've not got indicators or hazard lights, and the boot open warning light is on. So, quality. It's time, that's sticky. Right, so it's time to take the dashboard out and, well, basically this bit here, so I can get behind there. What I need to do is start off with these two, I think a 6mm bolts down here. There's also one more bolt, which I think is, what size is this? 10mm. Just slacken off this one above the handbrake cables. This whole section here comes out, and I can give it a jolly good cleaning actually, because it's all pretty grim. Then we can pull back. I should use a trim tool for this really, but I can't find one. You can pry this bit of plastic off here around the light switch, window switches. Access to them, give that a bit of a clean up as well while that's accessible. Two on each side, one up the front, up here, and one down here fairly well hidden on the side of the transmission tunnel. And the whole lot should move backwards as we've moved the other section. That's something else that I'm trying to look at while I've got this all apart, is this section here, because this isn't fitting quite properly. But there we go, it all slides back a little bit. I can try and refit it better and get a look behind it. That's all. I did see on another video someone saying you need to remove this air vent first of all, and then you can push this from behind. I see, yeah. There you go, yeah. Gotcha. Now, can I find any earths? That's the question. While I've got this interior stuff apart, I'm taking a quick moment to take an opportunity to clean all the bits of grime that are normally concealed. So I have a quick hoover up underneath here, so the carpet's now clean and shiny under the plastic. This rubber gaiter is all, the rubber gaiter around the handbrake's all clean and shiny as well. And basically all the hidden bits that are really hard to get to are now going to be lovely and clean when this car gets back together. And thanks to a little bit of Diamond Bright interior cleaner, good stuff that it is. You may remember how transformed, you might remember how I transformed Quentin with this stuff, because Quentin was pretty grim after nearly a decade in the elements. It might not work, but at least it'll be shiny. Right, I'm looking at a map of the car showing where the earths are. I've cleaned up E7. I'm looking for E4, but I can't find it. It says it's kind of central down here somewhere, but I cannot find where that earth would be. But I've also got earths down here, E5 and E6, down behind these kick plates, and a big one here at the front, which is thankfully quite easy to find. That is this main earth here right by the battery, which looks mucky, but it's greasy, but not rusty. And depending what model it is, there could be two more over here, but I don't know that we've actually got those on this particular car because, well, it's just not that model. This earth block a little cleanup. A couple of these earth wires don't look particularly factory, but at least they've got a decent connection there. Aha, this is interesting. I have just been going through all the fuses again, and basically what I'm doing is rotating them, so if there's a bad connection that might make a better connection. And I've just found this one, which I didn't find before as blown, is blown. So let's go and grab a new one of these and see if that looks any better. Right, let's pop that one in there. That one, number 3 by the way, is clock radio and interior light. It's interesting that one has blown. Okay. But the clock was running, even though our clock is still running. Let's put that light bulb back in there. Yeah, light does come on when you flit it to full on. Doesn't work when the door's open though. Okay. Now, knowing that was the interior light circuit switch and the fact that well, whatever's meant to plug it into the back of that is somewhere in this door shut, leads me to believe that the reason I've got a problem with the radio shorting out is going to be the wiring into this door, which goes through here, apart from the bit that should come out just there, because that should be screwed in like that. But you can't reach that without taking the entire dashboard out, unfortunately. And I'm going to also guess that if there's something screwy going on here, the reason I've got a problem with the radio is going to be that the speaker wire is doing something screwy in here as well, which means taking the door card off. I need to take the door card off anyway because that needs repairing. Incidentally, I was under here looking for the earth point indicated on that diagram, but really it's quite hard to find owing to the fact that there's an awful lot of wires down here, and I'm guessing that whatever earth point there is going to be behind that lot just there. Ah, I've seen it. I've found it from this angle. It is, I don't know if you probably can't see it or not, but there's a flexi plastic wire container and it's on the wall of the car just up there. That's impossible to get to, but doesn't look bad though. Doesn't look like a crust fest. So while I'm looking at the fuse box, I've just pulled out the flasher relay. Pulling it out makes no difference to the car. You get the same warning lights on. I'm just going to do a basic check on this thing. the good old click check. Oh, no click. That's interesting. This isn't a great battery, to be fair, but I should be getting something off that. I think my flasher relay is dead as well. And did a quick check with the multimeter on an ohms test, and it kind of just flicked up something for a microsecond and then off again. But putting it back in and reseating it, I've now got indicators again. So I do wonder if I've got a bad relay on the flashing circuit as well, which might well be the reason why it wasn't working properly. So many problems. I love electrics. Oh no, wait, I don't. Well, last time when I was doing this car in a video, I did say there's probably no point in checking the flasher relay, because what would happen would be that I would test it and it would come up fine, plug it back in again, and it wouldn't work. In fact, the opposite has happened. I tested it and it came up showing nothing at all, and I've put it back in. Oh, okay. You know what, I think that relay is definitely at fault. I'm going to change that one before I finish this video. They're £9 on eBay, so I'll get that ordered right now. Next thing I need to do, by the way, I have put everything back together again. It does look really quite nice now without all the dust and dirt that's kind of just sitting in the seams. You can't get it out without taking things apart. Much nicer indeed. This is meant to just kind of pry out, but it's not doing it particularly easily, and I don't want to damage anything. So I'm going to keep on working on that for a minute longer. This is the long forgotten Rover 400. Languishing in the garage. I need to reconnect the battery, but the biggest spider I've ever seen is currently on the passenger side, and I don't dare go over there.
I'm next to it right now.
I don't want to be near this guy. He's huge. So I don't know why I didn't think of doing this before, because the one I just went and bought from the shop locally was the right pins, the right numbers, but was physically the wrong dimensions to fit into this slot. But I don't want to order the correct one offline, because that's going to take 3 or 4 days. But of course, I've got the Coupe and the Tourer both use exactly the same flasher relay. So with this one, stolen out the Tourer. Haha, everything is working as it should. Well, that's fascinating. Hang on, let's make sure it's in neutral. And now I've not got the weird boot open light either. I can push all the other buttons, I'm not getting a whole bunch of stuff. Still not got the boot open light though when I've opened the boot, but hey, at least everything else is working. Right, well, as pretty much everything seems to be working now, just by changing that one relay, although I have gone and doused that earth with electrical contact cleaner, cleaned up the earth under the front of the car, cleaned up the earth in the back of the car, everything else. Just thought I'd quickly try something and plug the radio in, and hi, 87.5. What do you know? Well, I have managed to completely lose the antenna cable inside the dashboard somewhere. I can't find that. I'm going to have to remove the entire dashboard to get that back out again. But against all the odds, by changing the flasher relay, I have just managed to fix the radio. Possibly by spending most of yesterday cleaning the earth points as well. When I was going to do the next bit of this video was going to be the fact that I found a second wiring diagram for this car, which showed that the earth point on this under the dashboard I was hunting for is actually on the bulkhead inside by the engine, and I've not yet found that one. But madly beyond mad, this car now seems to be fixed. I've got indicators, I've got a radio, it's all working. How did that happen? Bizarre, absolutely bizarre. Well, good news really, apart from the fact I've got to take the dashboard apart now to extricate that, and I still haven't taken this thing out. I've tried pulling this quite a lot. All the online guides say you just give this a gentle pull and pry it out with pry tools, and it pops out like happy as Larry. But this is not moving at all. I wonder if someone's glued it at some point in the past, because that is not moving. Okay, so this is basically a functioning car now. I'm very happy indeed. Right, so I have just quickly unscrewed this console. There's just 4 little Phillips head screws that hold the thing in, freed it off, freed this antenna wire out, and so now I can plug the radio in properly. I had a moment of genius thinking, I know, why don't I just plug this Rover radio back in again and see if it works or not? And I plugged it in, then remembered I don't know what the security code is, so I can't really do anything with that. So I'll plug this in and I'll use the Geek for the time being, because at least then I've got USB stuff on it. So so I can charge the phone off it and play, you know, Audible and stuff on it. My plan had been for driving this car to use my Draper D20 wireless speaker, just sit that on the passenger seat, old school 60s cruiser style, and listen to music that way. I'll put a link in the description to that thing, 'cause that's pretty cool. So yeah, I've now got a fully fixed working car. That's incredible. I'm quickly going to reinstall this. Amazing, I've got a functioning radio, which I can't really play out because it's, I can play Crackles. Here you go. I'll play 2 seconds of whatever that was. So yeah, working radio, working indicators, amazing. So I don't know really if this is repaired because I've replaced the relay or if because I've taken the entire interior apart and cleaned every earth point on the entire car, but whatever happened, this Rover works properly now, which it, well, was only semi-working properly before, which means I can actually take it places and trust it. Amazing. And it was a free fix as well, which is even better. It's nice when things work out that way. So fantastic news. Rover is good. Good Rover. They're good cars, these things. They really are. They're pretty robust. It's not often that they go wrong terminally. They're basically a Honda, aren't they, really, but with better clothes. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this. And please do, as always, like and subscribe, and I'll see you again soon. Take care. Thanks for watching.